Welcome into the Sports Buffoons podcast. Yo, let's get it going out there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the world. Welcome on in once again, back again to the Sports Buffoons studios here out of Lenexa, Kansas. We got our boys to the left over here, Mr. JG Jason. What's going on, my man?
Not much, man. I'm just happy to be here. Happy to still be sober with y'all.
I'm also glad you're not just showing up because you're trying not to be fined, because there's some people out there in the NFL that are trying to do that right now. We'll get into that in a minute. But Tanner, what you up to, man?
Not a lot, dude.
What do you mean not a lot? You got a brand new goddamn Chiefs jersey. Talk about that for a minute.
Got myself a Nick Bolton jersey.
Yeah,
because we got to have it. So now I got the Lenny Dawson. I got the Nick Bolton. I technically from you still have a large Patrick Mahomes upstairs.
That's true.
And on top of that, I did get my
it.
signed Patrick Mahomes that we'll have shortly back behind us in a case. So
you did adopt one of my Patrick Mahomes jerseys.
I
did. And yeah, that's fine. You can have it,
it's
man.
Cool there.
Okay. You got the Lynn Dawson because you got the last name on it. So if it was smaller, I'd put it on the back of my dog because his name is Lenny. Like Lenny after Lynn Dawson. But no, it's okay.
It's still a good rotation of jerseys.
Now, my only question is, though, obviously we all are Nick Bolton fans and everything, but what made you choose Bolton over anybody else on the team?
Honestly, the way he plays is what brought me into him. I know he's a Tigger, right? I'm aware of this. I'm aware he's a Tigger. But
explain yourself.
I love me some Nick Bolton. I love watching him play. I've been a fan with him ever since he's finally, really came into his own his rookie season. And I like hard hitting guys. I like guys getting up there and hit somebody in the mouth. So give me a Nick Bolton.
The most important thing though is that if you're going to invest, presumably you spent $300 on that jersey. You want it to be of a player that's going to be sticking around for a while, not a guy
Correct.
that might be off the team or traded in a couple of years.
Yeah, like he's going to be around for a bit.
Bolton's going to be around, so I like your $300 investment there.
Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Love it very much, you guys. So obviously we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL. We got some fantasy. We got a couple games for you guys to play. When I say games, I mean you guys at home can play along with us, as a matter of fact, as we go along with it. What do you click? What are you laughing about?
Scott wants to know if the start time is supposed to be 9:30 Central or 9:30 Eastern.
Well, guess what, Scott? Things happen along the way. And it's I know it seems like we're getting later and later and later at night. Trust me. Pretty soon we're going to be those infomercials that come on, back in the early 2000s.
Late night infomercials.
We're going to have some girls coming up in the background, wearing some lingerie and
have spinny text come out on the screen.
Call us now. Do you want to have a good time?
The bottom line is that a lot of things can happen when you have sober brain, which is what the three of us are dealing with right now. So
that's an issue. No, we got some Coors Edge guys going tonight. What are you guys sipping on?
Stella Artois 0.0.
Stella's a good one. Tanner, what you got?
Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Now hold on. You did you go out last night, Tanner?
No, I did not.
You did not go out. Okay. For a minute I thought you were going to, but
I'm legit. Like I probably won't be drinking into October. So
damn.
Oh jeez.
Like I'm done for a while. So
see, I'm not going that far. Man.
Like I'm going to Milwaukee next week, guys, and I'd already told my brother not to buy any beer because it's not even
holy
on my
hell.
List. Not even on my list.
Okay, man. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I mean, I feel like I gave you a life-changing night, which makes me proud to be I'm an adopted parent of you every once in a while.
Training camp day night was.
If I drive you around the whole city, then apparently your life changes.
Yeah. That's what it is.
So Tanner might not remember training. No, actually, he remembers training camp. He doesn't remember having after training.
No,
camp.
I remember after training camp. It's just that last hour got a little rough.
Okay. Hey man, I get it. I felt a little sad for you when I saw you walk in the door. It seemed like it was going to be a rough night, but we'll save that for a different night to talk about, obviously. So, guys, the first thing I want to talk about today, obviously, is that training camp is getting wrapped up across the league in a lot of ways. I mean, we have most of our teams coming down to the wire on getting things finished up in their respective cities they're working out in. Chiefs and St. Joe is what I want to talk about right now because we have now seen, pretty much a full month worth of Chiefs training camp at St. Joe at this point. I feel like we're a little disappointed in some things. I think we're excited about other things because I think we've seen a lot of things that we were unsure about now unfold. But I think the most disappointing thing, in my opinion, to this point, is that we've seen an injury-riddled preseason. I mean, this whole training camp has just been kind of one thing after another. Najee Johnson, the day we were there the first time,
Yeah.
Tanner, we saw him immediately after the rainstorm came, go inside and then tear his ACL in the very next play in training camp practice indoors. We've seen a lot of other guys get nicked up here and there. We've seen now Jody Fortson is going on IR. He's out for the season. We have not gotten to see any play yet as far as live from Isaiah Pacheco.
Yep.
Been wearing the yellow jersey all along. Nothing wrong with that, guys. I'm not mad about that part because I know we're trying to be cautious, but that's my biggest flaw from this whole training camp so far is that the injury bug has been really getting us.
Justin Ross got it banged up here this last week.
Right.
So,
and luckily he came back. Obviously, he played
back.
He was back today. But I mean, this is like one thing after another. We have a long list of injuries right now in Kansas City. But I want to ask you guys my main question. My main question is, so what did you think 1 month ago compared to now? Because we went into this training camp with certain thoughts and perceptions we had of the team and where they were stood. And now we've seen a full month's worth of work put in, as well as one preseason game, which might not tell you much. But what's changed in your mind from what you thought maybe just 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know what to expect from the receiver room. I didn't watch a lot of New York Giants games last year, so I didn't really know what to expect from Richie James. Didn't really know a lot about the guy. But now after watching him, and I think, he's going to be an excellent contributor in this offense. Also didn't really know what to expect from Justin Ross. Didn't expect him to show up and show out in camp the way that he did. I think it was the last day at camp. He looked really good in the one-on-ones. And again, he's a guy that's going to have a good impact if he can stay healthy. So I didn't really know what to expect from Sky Moore for that matter. I still don't know if he's going to make a giant leap or maybe just a small leap from year one to year two. But I'm kind of happy with the way the receiver room is panning out at this point.
I'd have to say so as well. I think Sky Moore is really coming into his own. It was really nice to see him be clean out there in his routes, and his hands look good. I'm still kind of sticking though with what I said a month ago. We need Chris Jones on that defensive line. God forsaken.
Oh, he needs to be
it's
there.
Gonna be rough.
Here's the thing: if he's not, like, we're gonna talk about this in a minute too. But
yeah,
if he's not there, it's not that I'm worried about the Chiefs, but he's also doing himself a disservice as well.
Correct.
That needs to be recognized. And so, obviously, preseason week 1, we saw right away that the interior D line is not going to be the same.
Well, we saw it at training camp too, getting pushed back by the twos.
Absolutely. He's a focal point. That's why he's literally the best player on the defense, Tanner. I mean, he makes an impact in every way along that D line. And you guys already know the D line affects the secondary. So when he's not in there getting his hands up, at the very least, he's not getting to the passer, then it's a problem.
We kind of saw in the preseason game too, versus the Saints, the lack of pass rush. And Derek Carr was just able to pick apart our secondary, which he's done in the past, when it's warm out. So but that's usually when we don't have a pass rush going after him. So I was really full telling right there.
All right. So you told us a negative. You have a positive of something that changed your mind a little bit?
We might, I don't know what it is about this Chiefs team, but we might have like this secret deal in receiving core, where we might have guys get cut that'll be on rosters elsewhere. And this is not a receiving core without Tyreek Hill still, right? So your number one's gonna be Tony MVS right there. Was it Ramon?
Nico?
That third strainer, fourth strainer receiver?
Well, he's further down the list than that.
So everybody,
you're talking about Nico Remigio?
Remigio, yeah.
Okay.
It's
Nico Remigio.
Remigio.
Yes, he did have an injury yesterday in practice. I'm waiting to hear more about that. Yes. Dang. So I don't know how severe it is yet, but he came down on his shoulder. It sounded like he had a dislocated shoulder. Had to be put back into place. I have not heard any more information about that yet, but I'm assuming they're being cautious with him.
Sounds like an IR trip.
And as like Bottom Line Sports, it looks like Remigio, but it's actually pronounced Nico Remigio.
Remigio.
Yes.
I wasn't sure exactly.
All right. What were you saying? Go ahead.
I was just saying, even if a guy like that could make some kind of small impact for this team, even if I don't think he makes the practice squad, he gets picked up. But
the problem is there's too many good talents right now in this receiving group because he is the ideal practice squad candidate that you want to, hold on to secretively. But the problem is that a guy like that fits so well on certain teams like the Patriots. I mean, Bill Belichick's going to see his ass out there and be like, I could fit him into my offense somehow.
Scoop.
Hey, Mac Jones, you little, passing mother ever. I mean, it's just like, it's one of those guys that would just fit really well. And I think the Chiefs are in a situation where it's a choice between Justin Ross and Nico Remigio on who's going to make the roster. Obviously, at this point, you want to go Justin Ross because he has higher upside in most opinions. And that's the thing is we're looking at receiving group right now. If we're going to go down the list, guys, for just a minute, we're going to go obviously Kadarius Toney.
Yep.
Marquise Valdes-Scantling.
Yep.
Sky Moore.
Yep.
Rasheed Rice.
Yep.
Justin Ross would be 5. I'm missing one.
Justin Watson.
Justin Watson.
Richie James.
Richie James. Thank you. That would be 6. Justin Watson 7. You don't have room.
You don't have room
for Nico Remigio to be on this roster
at all.
And as good as I think he is, because I've watched him in practice and camp. We saw him at camp twice now, Tanner.
Yep.
I liked him both times I saw him. I thought he stood out. I think he's a ball player. I think he's here to play football. I don't think you can sneak him on the practice squad. I think you put him on the practice squad, he's gone.
I think we got some talent that you're not going to see stay because it's going to get picked up.
MVS is not getting cut, Scott.
No chance, Scott.
0 chance.
No chance.
Scott, MVS is actually going to be a decent part of the offense this year, you guys.
He's kind of going to get forced into it, really.
He has no choice, and he's a veteran that's understanding of the offense, the way it works. I would expect for him to somewhere be between 700 to 800 yards receiving in that range. But he has a reason to be on the team. He has a purpose to be on the team. He's not going anywhere. I promise you that.
Do any of us think that Clyde is getting cut?
No.
Possibility.
I don't think so.
I just think you need to have depth at the running back position. I mean, if you've got Pacheco and bubble wrap right now and you're that worried about him, I mean, if he goes down, you got to have depth at the running back
I think you keep 4. I think you end up keeping 4.
Here's the problem right now with the situation of the offense is that the tight end group has now been figured out because Jody Fortson's on IR. He's out for the whole season. Your tight ends are going to be Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, assuming Blake Bell makes a team, and then Matt Bushman. So right now the battle is between between Matt Bushman and Blake Bell to be that third tight end.
Correct.
But the way the Chiefs run their offense and their tight ends, they actually like to do 4 tight end sets every once in a while.
Well, you remember what you said. We don't have a fullback this year.
Right. So one of those tight ends replaces the fullback.
Yes. So you keep all 4.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. And
so then you can't keep 4 running backs, or
I think you.
It's a tough call, man.
It's going to come down to Clyde and Prince. Is what it's going to come down.
You're not going to cut Deneric Prince.
No, that's not on the table.
You're not going to cut Deneric
I'm just
Prince.
saying it's going to come down
First
to
of all,
Clyde
Tanner, Deneric Prince is your kick returner. Already been said by Dave Tobe. Dave Tobe already called him. He's our kick returner.
Yeah, he's on.
So he's literally on the roster.
He's on the team.
So where does Clyde stand then?
What do you mean, where does he stand? Who cares?
I think he's on the roster still. I think he's on the roster week 1. I don't think they cut him.
I just want to carry. I want to carry. I want to.
One thing I want to say to Scott right now is that there is a small chance that the Chiefs cut Travis Kelce to then re-sign Chris Jones. We got to get rid of Travis's contract. That'll give us enough money to get Chris Jones into Kansas City. So just throwing that out there.
He's a team player too, so
Absolutely.
Sacrifices.
He's a team player. He'll understand. Let's talk to him for a minute, and then he'll resign for veteran minimum. So that's what I'm thinking about the Travis Kelce situation.
He needs to restructure.
Yeah, restructure, do the vet minimum. We'll pay him $800 grand for the year. You think that sounds good? Is this money for Chris Jones this year to get him re-signed?
I mean, he's got the podcast money. He's got sponsors now. He's fine.
Play for free because Brett Favre said he would have done that back in his day. So, anyways, you guys.
I think James Harden needs to play for free.
I think that my main thing that I took from camp, going into camp, I was very scared about the receiving group. And I know we're going in loopholes here, but I was very scared and worried about the receiving group. I didn't know what to think of it yet. When I first went to camp that first day, I was like, damn, these guys, no one's dropping passes. Everyone looks like they need to be there. Everyone fits in very, very well. It looks clean. And I just was like, this is an Andy Reid training camp. This is kind of normal. Like everything always kind of goes clean. And I liked seeing that. I liked seeing some of the plays I was seeing from certain guys. And it looked sharp.
Even Cornell's looked good.
Yeah, Cornell's looked good. I mean, all these guys are kind of fitting in some kind of way and fashion towards like they look sharp. And we saw the next practice after that, and I felt the same exact way. I was like, man, like I'm just not seeing a bunch of mistakes. I'm not seeing a bunch of stupid things that guys are doing. I just think everything like looks crisp in a lot of ways, especially Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice to me, Chiefs have something pretty cool going right now with him, and he's going to fit in so damn well with Patrick Mahomes. And I just like the way he plays. I like the physical style of body he has. He's going to be the yak monster, but also the phenomenal hands. I mean, I haven't seen Rashee Rice go out there and be fumbling the ball around and all this kind of other nonsense. Phenomenal hands. The one guy, honestly, as funny as it sounds, that I'd like to see make some more plays is probably Sky Moore. And that's because the plays I have seen in training camp have been designed passes on rollouts to Sky Moore that have been, 5, 6, 7 yard kind of dunk offs to you while he's rolling out in the flat. I mean, I want to see more out of Sky Moore as a middle deep threat in some kind of way. I'm just not seeing that in camp so far. I think they're going to use him a lot in the underneath stuff, which is fine. At the same time, I could sit here and be bitter about George Pickens if I want to, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's all about the receiving group, and as well as the way the Chiefs have treated the cornerback group, which is the different whole topic, because the cornerback group, you guys, is something that has been rotational now throughout training camp.
Second year guy.
And we walked into the training camp on day one. Najee Johnson was getting reps with the first team defense. Yes. At the time when L'Jarius Sneed, at the time when Trent McDuffie, at the time when Jalen Watson and everyone else there is healthy, Najee Johnson's being worked in with the first team at that moment. Yes. Did he have an injury? Absolutely. But it told me one thing about the mindset about this organization right now is that they're not done trying to figure out who everyone is. They're not done. They have not set in stone who their number one cornerback is, who their top tier guy is. They want to still roll through the list and figure out who the hell is going to stand up and make a play. For me, if I'm a cornerback right now, and like I said about the K-State guy last week, we saw him roll in with the ones. I'm going, this is an undrafted free agent. Picked up way late, even after the undrafted free agent still been picked up. He still got picked up late. You're getting worked in with the ones right now. Make a play.
If I'm Jalen Watson,
make your name known.
Yeah, if I'm Jalen Watson, I'm worried because I'm still playing for my spot.
Absolutely. And as good of a badass 7th round pick he's been, and an awesome season he just had in Kansas City, and anybody else for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems to me like we're trying to figure out who's going to fit in, who's going to truly earn their job. We used to have a saying back in Kansas City when we had those dumbass old days with Todd Haley. Todd Haley made you earn your arrowhead, which means you were in training camp, and everyone at training camp showed up to camp with no helmet. No sticker on the helmet. You had no arrowhead.
You're just a nobody.
You're a nobody.
You're a nobody.
You don't have a name on the back of your jersey. You have nothing. You're a nobody. You have no arrowhead on your helmet. What happened was, as you started to prove out over the course of training camp and preseason games, you would then earn your arrowhead, and he would give you a couple. Here's a couple stickers. Slap them on there. All of a sudden, you have a name in the back of your jersey. Now, all of a sudden, you're somebody. But if you didn't have an arrowhead on your helmet yet in training camp, that meant you haven't done enough. Now, I think that was an interesting approach, and Todd Haley was thinking outside the box. I almost don't hate it.
That's 2 weeks in a row of you loving on Todd Haley, man. Maybe we should bring him back. Bring him back for like
that's all.
An assistant coach or something.
This is not the NCAA. That shit might work in the NCAA. I'm sorry. And in the NFL, it's not going to work the same way. So to me, I mean, as cool as I thought that was at the time, I was like, yeah, it's an interesting approach. I mean, everyone's walking around with red helmets with no logo. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's one of those things where right now the Chiefs coordinators, Steve Spagnuolo, is thinking right down to himself, earn your starting spot, earn your spot on this team. Right now, you're all up for grabs. Mm-hmm. Who's going to come up and show out and then be a part of this starting string defense? So anyways, I'm primarily upset about the injury problems we've had in training camp, but at the end of the day, I think we've learned a lot about the receiving group, and we are no longer scared because, first of all, we have Patrick Mahomes. And then second of all the receivers look like they know what the hell they're doing. So it's going to be a receiver by committee is what it's going to be this year for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Be.
So that means when you guys are worried about your fantasy teams and you're like, I don't know what Chiefs receiver to pick. How about none of them? Don't pick any one of them. Any of them. until there's an injury. None of them. Don't waste your time or picks on any of them. Just let them all sit there, because you're going to be wrong whatever you pick out.
Outside
the
of
group.
Kelsey.
That's a tight end. But I'm talking about the actual receivers.
Yeah, receivers.
Now you guys no. If you listened last week to the show like you should have, Richie James was my sleeper pick for one of you guys out there that is going to actually be the one to stand out the most in the Chiefs receiving group. Expect him to be, one of those guys that gets in that 900 receiving yard range. It's not going to be your WR2 or 3, but he's going to be enough to be on your roster.
I agree. All right, real quick comments here. Flo out here says keep Deneric Prince and LaMichael and cut Clyde. He's gonna get hurt anyways. I don't think we're in the book of keeping LaMichael.
Now hold on, Tanner. LaMichael James did actually Piron, excuse me. LaMichael Piron actually did work in with the Chiefs' first string offense yesterday.
He did, but I don't think he's on the vote there.
I said LaMichael James.
You're just an anti-Clyde guy. You just want him to get the fuck out, right?
I'm bored with it. I'm tired of it.
You're sick of it.
I don't like it anymore. I'm over it.
Scott says, is Matt Nagy the right guy for this offense as a coordinator? Yes.
Does it really matter?
I think it's gonna be better.
I like what Jason
said. You could put me in there. I'll be the coordinator.
It'd be different.
They'd be fine.
No, it wouldn't.
They'd be fine.
It would not.
Scott, all I can tell you is that nothing will change that wouldn't have changed either way.
Flow out here was higher on Tony, but he's already hurt. Maybe you have an extra wide receiver, but it feels like Tony may not stay healthy. We'll have to see on that as it goes there. He says, I bet you if they keep Clyde Edwards-Helaire is out for an injury sometime this year. Well, no dip. He probably will be if he's kept. Do your Fab Five have a sophomore slump? Talk about the quarters in the secondary.
I'll tell you what. There's a lot of high praise right now for Brian Cook. If we're talking about a sophomore slump, maybe Williams could be in that mix. That's a possibility. Josh Williams. He's one of those guys that I thought was pretty hot and cold throughout the year. Jalen Watson, I thought was pretty solid all year long. Trent McDuffie actually is going to do the opposite. Trent McDuffie's about to have a big year boost for himself.
We still got Snead, who's still coming off an injury. So
yeah, L'Jarius Snead, we know who he is. We know what he's capable of. But no, to me, what slump are we looking towards? Because to me, Josh Williams would be probably the main one that we'd be worried about. But who else am I missing right now that would be in that part of that mix right now? I'm not thinking of somebody. So we had. Just pull the depth.
All right, so depth chart here. So corners, we have Jalen Watson, Snead, Nick Jones, Joshua Williams, and then Iko, Boyo, and Lamar Jackson. And you got Brian Cook, Justin Reed, Mike Edwards, Shamari Connor, and Deion Bush. Who are you thinking of? Boodle?
Oh, he doesn't count. DiCaprio Boodle.
That's our corners though, right now. This is our secondary right now.
We don't care about DiCaprio Boodle.
No, we don't. He's cut.
All right. Well, the Fab Five line you can get out of here then. We had 4 primary rookie starters last year on the defensive back end.
Yeah,
it was Brian Cook, Josh Williams, Jalen Watson, Trent McDuffie.
I think he's including Justin Reed in this. So
he was not,
since he was a first-year Chief.
He's been a veteran around the league for quite a while now, actually.
Yeah, no, he has.
We'll call it the Fab Four.
So isn't Richard James and Emir Smith-Marset ahead of Nico on punt returns? He is.
Yes,
they are.
Richard James is.
Emir Smith-Marset might sneakily make this team too.
Tanner, how many goddamn receivers do you think are going to make this
roster? They're going to cut somebody we don't want, or that we want.
They can cut Justin Watson.
That's who it's probably going to get cut.
That's fine, but we're going to keep Nico Remigio, if that's the case.
I don't know what 5 rookies you're talking about. Are you including more than just a secondary?
Okay, your 5 rookies that all played last year.
Are you talking about Pacheco too? And Sky?
No, he's talking about defense. Like Leo Chenal played more down the stretch. Carl Loftus.
So he might be talking about Carl Loftus too.
That's fine. He has nothing to do with our secondary though.
I thought it was the secondary.
I thought it was a secondary question.
Okay. Anything else for the Chiefs? We still feel good. Division win. Everything else right now.
Why would we not? Because at the end of the day, why Would we be overly concerned? I mean, it's the NFL, man. Things happen, things go wrong. It's always a chance for that to happen and go wrong. So I can't sit there and overthink it or fret about it, because at the end of the day, we have the greatest player in the entire NFL on the
Number
roster,
one.
and it's a quarterback-driven league, and I've been saying that for about the last 15 goddamn years. So that's what matters the most.
I like it.
So, anyways, you guys, if you guys have any more input on your thoughts on Chiefs training camp and going into the season, what are you worried about or excited about? I'd love to hear it.
Drop it in the comments.
But we have a fun game coming up. I want you guys to play along with me. So we are obviously sports bettors. All of us are.
Correct.
That's why we have the easy money pick of the week every single goddamn week coming to your household to make you some gosh darn money. Right?
Every time.
And did we get rich last year?
Yep.
I mean,
I mean, not rich, but
I
don't
we got
know
rich.
who did.
but we won our
We got
bet.
rich. I don't know if it was off of sports betting, but it was on some sort of betting.
I didn't get rich, but no, I won more than I lost. I'll put it that way. So that's for goddamn true. But I saw some things on DraftKings this week, and they finally put out the over-unders of every player that really matters in the NFL this year. So the over-under of the entire season, and I want to relate this a little bit to fantasy as well, because when we're talking about these players and these numbers, I want to make sure we take into account how it's going to affect your fantasy season, whether you should or should not draft them at their current ADP. But my first guy off the list I want to talk about is Anthony Richardson, quarterback. That's right, starting quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, who at the time currently does not have Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's trying to weasel his way out of being around the team right now. I understand. The actual number right now, the over-under is 2,800 passing yards. That's right, 2,800 passing yards is the over-under for Anthony Richardson. Guys, so my question to you is, were you over or under on Anthony Richardson?
This is one of the toughest ones for me because, you know, you look at rookie running quarterbacks of the past. So I took a look at Jalen Hurts' rookie year. We only started 4 games. Lamar Jackson only started 7 games. And I took their passing yards and I basically extrapolated it to what it would have been had they played in 17 games. Jalen Hurts would have passed for 4,500 yards. Lamar Jackson would have passed for 2,900. So you've got Shane Steichen now, who has worked with Jalen Hurts previously, now the head coach of the Colts. My gut feeling is telling me to take the under here, but based on the information that I just gave you, I'm going to take the over. I think it's kind of a coin toss there. I know we're not supposed to trust rookie quarterbacks, but this guy's a freak, and assuming that he does start all 17 games and plays, you know, decent, I'm going to take the over on this.
Okay. Mark it down, put it in the books.
College football is supposed to be easier because you're not playing against such pros, right? That's what everybody comes out to be. You're supposed to do more within the college ranks versus guys that won't touch the NFL. His 2022 yard stat, 2,549 yards. Not even 28. Not even 28. We didn't even get past we barely surpassed the 25,000 or 2,500 rank. This is an under. This is a big under because it's very questionable. This guy may not even start the whole year. If you watch kind of the preseason and what you've seen in camp as well, I have been unimpressed. You watch him in Florida when it's game time, it might be rough as well. Especially if you're lacking a run game on top of this, you're gonna have this guy be running. This could be this could be a real issue for him going into the season here. Big under for this here. I think he surpasses maybe 2,000 yards, but that's about it.
Ooh. Yeah, I like the under as well, personally. I think there's a long ways to go for Anthony Richardson. I think they're thrusting him into a spot that he's not ready for. And also on a team that's not ready for him either. I think he's not going to play all 17 games. So for me, the under is without a doubt the move on that one.
Yeah, Scott's got under as well. He says 2,400, 650 rushing yards.
All right, let's go to the other end of the spectrum here. Justin Herbert. his over-under right now on DraftKings, you can go get it right now, is 4,450 passing yards, guys. This is a hard one. You guys going over or under on Justin Herbert?
Yeah, I didn't really think too much about this. In fact, I will make this my easy money bet of the week here. You got Kellen Moore coming in as the offensive coordinator. Should improve the offense. They drafted Quentin Johnston. They've got all the other weapons that they've had in the past. He threw for 5,000 yards in 2021, so give me the over.
Oh, I love it, man. I'm on the same page with you right now on that one because, to me, I think they're forgetting about the fact we have a 17-game season right now. It's like 400 yards for Justin Herbert, who just got a brand new weapon as well to go along with the other two that he already has. As well as Josh Palmer, is going to be kind of in the back of all this whole thing. To me, it's like you got Quentin Johnson, Mike Williams, you got Keenan Allen still. I mean, this is an easy situation of taking the over. So for me, I'd be pounding that all day. Justin Herbert taking the over on 4,450 passing yards. What you got, Tanner?
I'm right there with you guys here. If you guys look at Dak Prescott stats when he was playing the full season in 2021, 4,449. Actually, I think he missed one game on that. But still, he's surpassed over almost 4,500, missing a game or two.
I like Scott's prediction, by the way. I actually think that's a possibility. Scott?
I think he's over 5. Yeah, I think he's over 5.
Got 5 and 200.
Yeah, that 4,450 number just doesn't seem right to me. Like, there's something wrong with it.
The only reason it would be lower than that is an injury.
Correct.
The only reason.
Correct.
If there's an injury to happen. Otherwise, if he plays all 17 games, it's going to be over and well over.
You now got an offensive coordinator that likes to sling the ball, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to go deep. They got Quentin Johnston out there and Mike Williams. I mean, that's just a dual threat for deep downfield throws. Yeah, give me the over.
All right, guys. Next on my list, we're going to go with the running backs for a minute here. Bijan Robinson. This one's a little controversial to me in a lot of ways because I think I have a different perspective over other people on this one. So Bijan Robinson, 1,100 yards rushing on the ground only. So 1,100 yards. Guys, we think Bijan Robinson getting that yard mark.
So the big thing here is I think a lot of people are worried about Tyler Algier, who was 1,000-yard rusher last year
as a rookie.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a knee-jerk reaction. I think the fact that they spent such a high pick on Bijan Robinson tells me that when you spend that amount of draft capital, you're going to use him, and you're going to use the hell out of him. And so I think he's going to have a huge year. I'm going to take the over 1,100 rushing.
All right, so I have a little different perspective. I think we both think of Tyler Algier a little bit differently, maybe. And I think he is much more respectable as a running back, as a rusher, than he is as a passer. Whereas to me, Bijan Robinson can do it all in a lot of ways. I think he's going to be your primary receiving weapon. I think he's going to get probably 40 to 50 catches out of the backfield for this offense. So, I mean, if you're working PPR in your fantasy league, I think he's a great guy to go grab. That's why he's being ranked in the first round in most of your leagues out there. But 1,100 yards rushing as a rookie, to me, is just a tall task. And it's one of those things that, for some reason, rookie running backs, they wait till year 2, and then they just blow the hell up. And it's not very often you have an Eric Dickerson, guys. Eric Dickerson, obviously, this happened in the 80s, but went out there and set the all-time rookie rushing record for 1,800 yards rushing. It's a little over that, but 1,800 yards rushing. And no rookies really come too close to touching that, other than maybe Zeke Elliott at one point. But, I mean, in today's modern offense, especially doing the dual backfield type of thing, with a guy like Tyler Algier, which they know can average close to 5 yards a carry, you're not just going to not give him the ball. So, I mean, he's going to be part of the offense no matter what, especially in a game where we know the Falcons lack a lot of offensive firepower at times with the quarterback situation. So, to me, I don't mean to prolong this, but Bijan's an under 1,100 yards rushing to me. What you got?
I kind of compare Bijan's talents to Saquon in a way when he came out of the draft. And Saquon went for 1,300 yards that year. So on 261 attempts. But he also didn't have the dual backfield like Bijan has. Especially with Cordell Patterson back there still too. It's is a way under. This is a way under just due to the staff that's there. Now, if it was Bijan and a bunch of scrubs, give me the over, but it's not. This is not what we're dealing with here. Bijan under 1,100.
I think you can definitely have two guys go over 1,000, no problem. I think just Bijan being a monster, I think he'll be able to get it done.
For the record, to the Bottom Line Sports, so I'm very aware of the name Fab Five. My point to you is that who would be the fifth that would really matter when it comes to what this defense did. What this defense did.
Williams, McDuffie, Watson, Cook, Johnson. I think it was including Nazi.
Nazi Johnson played special teams. He didn't do a goddamn thing last year.
He didn't play for us in the secondary.
It didn't matter. He literally played special teams towards the back end of the season. That didn't it's just irrelevant. So that's why we talked about the Fab Four. I don't care that Dave Merritt. Yes, that's great. Dave Merritt did that. It's awesome. He's trying to hype his guys up. It's his guys. It's his secondary. Jesus Christ.
Moving right along.
Jesus Christ. Fucking made t-shirts. Who gives a fuck? All right, guys. Isaiah Pacheco is next on my list.
Somebody is sober and pissed today.
We got 4.5 rushing touchdowns for Isaiah Pacheco. That is the over-under right now. Pacheco's entire. Yes, they got on the field. Yes, they all got on the field. At some point during the season, they did.
Everybody sniffs the field.
It doesn't goddamn mean they were the Fab Five. Let's move on.
All right, so Pacheco, 4.5 rushing touchdowns. He did have 5 last year. I don't really see a world in which he can do worse than that unless he's dealing with an injury or something. And I don't really see a world where somebody who else we got? We got Clyde that's going to eat into some of those touchdowns. Maybe
McKinnon could have a couple. Prince, maybe if we're lucky, could be part of the offense.
Fine.
I don't know.
I'm going to take the over.
Over 4.5. Yeah, I mean that make the most sense. I mean, think about the rushing touchdowns the Chiefs have had. 4.5. I mean, we're assuming Pacheco is going to be the main starter for the entire season, right? So assuming he's healthy the whole year, 17 games, you're going to luck into a couple of them, and then the other is going to be designed. I mean,
he had
to me
5 touchdowns on 178 attempts last year.
Right. So
5 touchdowns.
So he's imagine have 8 or 9 touchdowns.
Imagine you get to 250 attempts, which is probably what he should be at this year.
Correct.
Rushing. I mean,
you're going to easily surpass.
We're going to be around 7 or 8, right?
And you don't have a fullback to do your tricky things with either.
Well,
I feel like
you're probably going to bring Gray.
Either Noah Gray or Blake Bell will be a fullback. Would they need to?
I feel like when they throw out a number like this, 4.5 at the running back position, I think you're assuming that these running backs, are going to get banged up and miss 4 or 5 games or something like that. That's where they get that 4.5.
Yeah, it's
possible.
And I think they're just going off the last year's stats too. He's banged up, hasn't on the yellow jersey, and he only scored 5 touchdowns.
Well, he's not banged up right now. To be clear, he's not banged up.
He's fine.
They're handling it with bubble wrap, which is the right thing to do.
Which, basically as soon as camp leaves St. Joe, which is tomorrow, then back to Kansas City they go, and at that point he's going to be getting a full work in with the rest of the first string offense. And he's not going to get hit though. Probably, week 3 preseason, they might give him a couple touches.
Is it catching or running?
Couple. It's only rushing,
right?
This is only rushing.
This is only rushing, Scott.
This is only rushing. So 4.5 rushing touchdowns for Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah,
I'll happily take the over.
I would too
on this one. This doesn't make sense for too many other guys.
And you're on the last year's highest scored in red zone team.
Right.
Continues.
I mean, why would it not? All right, guys. Next after that, we go into the receivers for a couple minutes. The same team, as a matter of fact. We have Deontay Johnson, wide receiver from the Steelers. His over-under is 825 yards receiving. For me, that feels pretty damn high. But, JG, what you got?
So we had 882 yards last year on 86 receptions. I feel like this is a coin toss for me. Didn't have – I think he set the NFL record for most yards without a touchdown or something like that. So, so I do believe he'll break that streak. So he's going to get some touchdowns this year. However, I'm going to take the under on the yards, but I do feel like that's a coin toss.
Yeah, I love the under here. Just a couple reasons why. Because we're going to see an emergence of Calvin Austin III come out, be a part of this offense a little more than he was a year ago. Deontay Johnson, I think this point, if you're a Steelers coach and scout, you're well aware this guy does have some hands issues. He's not the great pass catcher. You've been force feeding him the ball for like the last 3 years. I don't fucking know why. Makes no sense.
Drop rate is shitty.
And George Pickens is about to have a terrific year number 2, 1,200 yards receiving for the Pittsburgh Steelers. To me, there's not enough at this point for what he can provide the offense. It's going to come up and take over the other guys that right now that are on the emerge. Because I mean, Deontay Johnson, guys. I mean,
if you're gonna force feed somebody, force feed Pickens, you'll make JG a happy camper. He's on my fantasy
team. You guys got to remember too, Matt Canada is still the OC there in Pittsburgh, and 2 years ago he did give this guy over 1,000 yards receptions, over 1,000 yards, and over 100.
How many years ago, Tanner?
2.
You mean before Pickens and Calvin Austin got there?
2022 with Pickens.
Before Pickens and Calvin Austin.
Pickens and Calvin Austin. So Pickens here last year, he had still 86 receptions, averaging 10.3.
So Matt Canada is a big believer in Deontay Johnson. So he's going to give him one last chance before they fire Matt Canada.
Are you forgetting whose bum ass was there at the time 2 years ago, Tanner? Trying to play receiver, hobbled on his fucking knees like me these days. Are you kidding me? We're gonna try to force feed Deontay Johnson and then assume, oh, that's who he likes. That's who he likes.
If it was 875, I'd go under. But I think he squeaks to 850 this year.
850 for Deontay Johnson.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think he goes on the.
How many targets is that going to take? 185?
It might take 190 because they're going to be passing the ball.
Guess what? Kenny Pickett won't do that shit. He's going to be force feeding George Pickens all day
I
in
don't
here.
think so.
I'll tell you that right now.
We got Deontay the over as well. So
I saw that, Scott. I saw that. All right, guys, we got one more. Just talked about him a second ago. George Pickens. That's right, the sophomore receiver coming up right here from Georgia. Last year had a really great year down the stretch, especially. We started to see him come on, had 800 yards receiving. Finished off with, was it 5 touchdowns? Was that all right, JG?
That sounds about right.
So his over-under this year, guys, is 4.5 receiving touchdowns for George Pickens, who has quickly become Kenny Pickett's favorite.
4 touchdowns.
Kenny Pickett's favorite receiver on his offense in training camp. Guys, what's the thoughts?
I mean, I think Pickens is going to be a monster this year. I mean, we saw what he did last year. I mean, second-year receiver. I mean, his trajectory is basically through the roof right now. So, absolutely, give me the over.
And how do you think about Ryan Clark making a statement today about how George Pickens is actually more talented than Justin Jefferson?
Yeah, that's just clickbait. I mean, I don't think that, a lot of times these guys say things they don't actually believe, and I think that would just clickbait more than anything. But
yeah.
I can see a world in where they're equals, but you got to let Pickens develop a little bit more. I mean, Jefferson's been around a little bit longer, but yeah, I mean, you give Pickens a couple more years, man. I could see a world where they're even. I don't know if he's going to be better.
Yeah, no, I think Ryan Clark's a little crazy on that one, but that's the reason he said that though is because Ryan Clark was a Steeler for his career, so he's got a little homer going. No problem with that. I understand.
Yeah, he is a homer.
Anyways, guys, easy for me. This is an easy over for George Pickens, 4.5 touchdowns. Take the over. Tanner, what you got?
You said it. Over it is. Over.
Over it is. Easy pickings, you guys. All right. We got one more little game I want to play with you guys out there listening still. Thank you so much for holding on. This one's a little fun. This is not a serious. I'm not going to be mad at anybody. Bottom line sports. I'm not going to get mad at you. I'm not going to be touchy. You can say whatever you want to say. Tanner, here's the thing going on right now on Fanatics. You can get on Fanatics right now, and you can pick out your favorite underwear for yourself or for your girlfriend even. And it's going to be your favorite team's logo matched with the food pairing that goes to your city. And so I didn't know about this until literally today. This was something I just came across, and I was like, oh my God, what the freaking hell is all this crap? And basically, you get on there and pick out your boxers you want to buy. They look pretty nice. I don't know. We're going to see some examples of men's butts in a second. But basically, whatever city you're from, whatever your interest is, like obviously Kansas City. We're going to have a Chiefs logo with maybe some ribs next to it. That'll be the underwear. That'll be the thing that you wear, on your PJs or whatever the hell. So let's go ahead and play a game. I'm going to play a game with JG. JG doesn't know anything about this yet. And I want to see how much you know about each of these teams' food of choice. So we're gonna start it off.
And we're pairing the food that the city is famous for. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, what the city's famous for. We're gonna pair it with that food pairing, and we're gonna show you the picture of their underwear.
So you'll see the logo, and then you'll see the answer.
Yeah. So let's go to the first team.
First team up, Miami Dolphins.
Oh, Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. What would that be?
I'm saying the food, right?
Yeah. What would Miami be known for? Like, what do you think that would be on their underwear? They're wearing Miami Dolphins underwear.
I'm gonna go with they probably eat a lot of seafood down there. I'm gonna go with maybe caviar. Put some fish eggs.
It's not a bad choice. I was wondering, like, how would you put fish eggs on a piece of boxers? But
Or maybe how about I don't know. They eat all kinds of seafood. Maybe like a starfish. No, that's not really a delicacy.
something you would eat.
Yeah, I'm going with caviar.
Caviar. Tanner, do you already know what your thought is?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw.
I actually remember the answer, so I'm not gonna answer this one.
So here we go. Here's the
Here's
reveal.
That is so. If you guys can't tell, that's Cuban sandwiches. Cuban sandwiches on the. There you go. Cuban sandwiches on the boxers. What do you guys think about the Cuban sandwiches being on there? I mean, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
The Cuban part.
That's fine. I think it's cute. I've never had a Cuban sandwich.
Like, would you buy like your Dolphins fan, like Dolphins and a Cuban sandwich just being on the boxers?
I can tell you this: I wouldn't be like Marv Albert and try to bite somebody's ass that was wearing those fucking boxers with the Cuban sandwiches.
All right. Well, I think they look fine.
They look great. Yeah, they look
next,
fucking amazing.
Next team, Carolina Panthers.
Ooh.
Well, think about North Carolina, Charlotte.
That's gotta be. I would say tobacco, but that's not
Tobacco?
Yeah,
That's gotta be a food.
it's gotta be a food.
Yeah,
I've never even been there, man. How
I've
the
been
hell
there.
would I know?
I don't.
What do they know?
I don't remember what this picture is, so I'm thinking wings.
No, so I think it's probably gonna be some kind of barbecue,
Is it
like
Carolina
Carolina
style?
barbecue.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it is, but I'm gonna go with some kind of barbecue.
All right,
what I
you got a guess?
Sure. Let's go with ribs. I don't know.
Ribs. All right.
Barbecue sandwich.
Reveal. Carolina styles.
Carolina style barbecue.
Pulled
Okay.
pork,
Yeah,
coleslaw
yeah, there we
top
go.
with the bun in between. I get that at all my favorite barbecue joints. So
Tanner, you wear those.
I would.
I like the color too.
I'd actually
That
wear them.
teal is really
I would wear
nice.
them in Casey Joe's
Oh,
and make sure they
get
sag a
pissed.
little bit.
They would get pissed.
Tanner,
And
they
then
get
order.
pissed.
I would order a Carolina style. Like I always do.
Well, they wouldn't like that.
I'm
very much.
Pissed off just looking at it. Like
I would wear
nobody from Kansas City is gonna wear that shit.
I probably would, but I still like a Carolina style every once in a
I
while.
like a Carolina style.
We have
All right, next up here, the Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh.
Steelers, home of Catch-Up Nation.
I don't know, man.
Well, they're not eating Philly cheese steaks. So what the hell do they eat in that town? How about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
PB and J.
That's it. Interesting one.
Is it PB and J?
Reveal.
Well, they got some kind of sandwich. Is that a sub?
What is that?
Hold on.
You remember?
No, I think it's like some kind of sub.
That's the third dude.
It's-
They're all doing like every one of them's been a sandwich so far, right?
So far, yeah.
I don't know, man. It's a tough one. It's gotta be a name. Oh, here it is. It's a Primanti.
Primanti.
Primanti style sub
Yep.
sandwich.
Yeah.
I think it's what it is. So I didn't. So
What the hell is
I've never
that?
been.
It's a Promonti.
I don't know. I have no idea. But I saw a picture online of it. Looks pretty good. I mean, this.
I'd be willing to try it.
Would you eat that? Oh, it's got like roast beef on it. Would you eat that shit?
Probably not. I'd probably just go get a Philly cheese steak and I'd go to Philadelphia and do that shit.
Probably better. I agree with that.
Oh man! All right.
Oh, wait. Do you know what it looks like to me?
What?
It's like a What is that?
A Reuben?
A Reuben. It looks like a Reuben.
Like a Reuben style in Pittsburgh?
Yeah. So is Pittsburgh known for like making like Reuben sandwiches? It is
I
basically
suppose.
what it is. It's Primanti, whatever. the fuck,
I'm
I
sure
don't
it's
know.
great.
I don't know. I need a Steelers fan to enlighten us out here. All right, we got 2 more, right, Tanner?
Yep. All right. Next up here, the Los Angeles Chargers.
Chargers. See, I would have thought like seafood, like sushi, or I don't know, some kind of fish.
Damn. I'm gonna go with.
They used to be in San Diego, and that used to be a Will's vagina. So, according to Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, that's true.
What am I? I'm thinking maybe like a shellfish sandwich.
Shellfish.
That's everybody's fucking done sandwiches to this point.
Let's see the reveal. You good? You want to?
I don't even know an answer.
I don't know either. Here we go.
It's tacos. It's gotta be fish tacos.
It is. It's Mexican.
That's gotta be fish tacos.
It is fish tacos. There's fishes right here.
Fish tacos.
And then you got the tacos.
Fish tacos. Let's get that for our old buddy Bobby. We used to hang out with every once in a while. He probably needs some of those.
Yeah, he does.
All right.
Fish tacos.
Last team, the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, I know this one. This is an easy one, guys. Don't overthink this one. It's easy.
Got to be a sandwich, right?
It has to be.
No.
It's not gonna be a sandwich.
How about
a sandwich?
How about Baltimore style pizza? Is that a thing?
Think about the East Coast, like what they're known for in like Northeast. Like think about that. Like what are they known for out there on that coast? Seafood.
Fish.
Think about seafood. What else?
In the Northeast.
Yeah, I know we're in the Midwest. We're dumb as hell. All we know is cows and barbecue and pigs.
Salmon. Salmon.
Well,
Clams.
You said clams, but you said what?
Clams? That's what I said.
Clam chowder.
There's something else out there, guys. They have certain they have cakes of this.
Oysters.
Out there.
Cakes.
Crab
Crab
cakes.
cakes. Ooh, what do we get?
Cakes.
All right, let's go ahead and show the.
That's so gross.
Here it is.
It is. It's crabs.
Here it is. Would you wear a Baltimore Ravens crab socks and underwear?
Okay, so I will say this. That's the nastiest food out of all of them, but the underwear are the best. That's my favorite.
I like
pair
the
of underwear
fact
that I've seen.
that there's the Baltimore Ravens logo with crabs everywhere.
Yes, I love it.
You know what you do? Like think about this. If you were a single guy out of the bar, you use it as a pickup line. Like, oh, I might have crabs, and then like, oh, I don't want to talk to you. And you go, oh, I'm just kidding. Look at my underwear. Do you unzip your pants? They know you're joking, right?
That's the best one, and Baltimore is actually going to be a little bit better football team this year too. So you might see a lot of crabby. You might see a lot of crabby people wearing their underwear.
That's right.
Yeah, I'd probably buy those. But obviously, you guys, if you're in Kansas City, ours were just literally ribs.
Was it really?
It was just barbecue.
Yeah,
Barbecue
makes
ribs.
sense.
I mean, that's I'd still wear them.
Now that's
I'd wear
bullshit.
'em.
I would have put the Z-Man sandwich on there.
Well,
because everybody was doing sandwiches. I would have put the Z-Man sandwich from Joe's Barbecue on there.
I don't know, but we're just known for like barbecue in general.
Yeah.
Like not one barbecue place. Like we're known for all our barbecue.
I mean, if you're gonna get anybody on a boxers, it's probably gonna be like Arthur Bryant's or Bates or Gates or anything, something like that.
yeah,
More than it will be.
I think
Casey
ribs are
Joe's.
fine. I mean, we're known for our ribs and stuff. So burnt ends primarily. But I mean, like, how do you make a burnt end on a boxer? I feel like that'd be hard. They just look like a blob.
Just on the butt.
Here's a piece of crispy fat. Here you go. That's the burnt end Chiefs logo. All right, guys.
I feel like at Pittsburgh, if they're gonna do that roast beef bullshit, they could have just put the Arby's logo on there.
Yeah, apparently they like Reubens.
See,
Yeah.
it should have been ketchup, honestly.
It looked like
It
Reuben.
should have been
It looked like a
bottles of
Reuben
ketchup.
to me. Is it like Long Island dressing and stuff on there? I don't know.
Was Green? Did you see Green Bay's? Were they cheese?
It was cheese.
Cheese.
Yep. There was some teams that didn't have one, like the Raiders did not have one because if you're in Las Vegas, it's literally everything. I mean, you might as well put a picture of a hooker next to the logo.
Put a picture of the Paris Tower and out there.
Sure, if you were into that. I mean, could have made yourself your own little tower if you wanted to.
What do you think a Paris Tower would look like on boxers?
That's what I mean. You could have built your own tower if you want to, naturally. All right, guys. Anyways, JG, you got one more thing we want to talk about before we get out of here because I'm just excited to see football this weekend, man. I mean, the Chiefs play Saturday at 7 p.m. and we'll be in Arizona. Let's hope we can be careful on that nasty turf. I'm not looking forward to that. I mean, I hope we get out there and take care of business and get out of there, because the injuries we've had so far to this point of the season is kind of worrisome. And we already know all about how effed up that grass is out there in Arizona.
They're already slipping. They're already slipping.
Anyways, guys, I'm looking forward to that. I'll be getting some reactions from that as time goes. Maybe we could get to a point, Tanner, where we get some more live footage and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyways, JG, NBA is right around the corner.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you would want to talk about the preseason, no, we usually don't talk too much about the NBA this time of the year, but today I had to make an exception for that because James Harden called his general manager a liar. And basically, the whole world knows about it right now. So, a little bit of the backstory: James Harden actually took a pay cut going into last season, and presumably was told by his general manager that you will be taken care of, meaning we're going to get you that extension after this year. And then they didn't do it. So fast forward, James Harden demands a trade, and
this is after accepting his own option, a player option.
Yeah. So he opted in and then demanded a trade, and then he realized there's no market for James Harden. There's literally no market for this guy. He's 34 years old this month. The Clippers had interest, but they wouldn't give up Terrence Mann, who is not exactly a world beater. And so at this point in his career, James Harden is basically, he's a 20-10 guy, but he's not what he used to be. He's not a guy that's going to move the needle if you're trying to win a championship. And he's a complainer. And one of the worst things that you can be in any sport is a complainer who is aging. You're getting towards the back end of your career, and he wants a super max extension, or at least a max extension, after not showing up consistently in the playoffs. Had a couple of big games in the playoffs. But when his team really needed him, he was just kind of like one game when they're like, might have been the closeout game. He had like 6 points or something like that.
Yeah.
And then now you're going to call your general manager a liar. The same general manager that has actually paid him $225 million combined on 2 different teams. So Daryl Morey, when he was with the Rockets, gave him a shitload of money. Gave him a shitload of money to come to Philly. And so now he's calling the guy a liar. And basically, this guy, what he does, he goes to a new team. It seems like he wants to be on a new team every year. And then after that, he begs to leave that same team after he joins them. So it kind of makes me think of like a girl that breaks up with like 9 different boyfriends, and then in a short period of time, and then you get to the 10th guy and he's kind of like, yeah, you know what? I think I'll pass.
Now remember now, he actually went back to his ex because Morey was with him in Houston. So he's back with his ex after leaving his ex in the same kind of fashion, forcing his way out of Houston. And then he got into Philadelphia after Brooklyn. Yeah. And now he's doing the same damn thing to Morey again.
He still wants to go back to Houston, but guess what? Ime Udoka wants no part of that.
Doesn't want to touch that.
And nobody wants any part of that shit.
No.
So I feel sorry for the guy. I know it sounds weird to say you feel sorry for a multimillionaire, but the guy is obviously nearing the end of his career. And unfortunately, I think what's going to happen, because he said this is not the end of it. Harden said that this is just the beginning, which makes me think, okay, you've already called your general manager a liar. What's the next step? I think the next step, and you guys tell me if you have a different opinion on this, I think he's going to go back to Brooklyn James, and he's going to get in the closet and break out that fat suit.
Correct.
And become James Harden once again.
Digging the dust
and
off.
That's going to be his way of punishing this organization that allegedly lied to him and didn't give him any more money or the max extension. So
you think he's going to self-sabotage
again
to get back to, because he's upset, obviously.
He's going to do the same way that he got to
my
Brooklyn.
problem with this guy is that it's always the same goddamn thing, no matter where he ends up.
Correct.
He's always pissed off that everyone else is the problem. It's never him. He's always mad all the damn time.
Clean breakup essentially was Oklahoma because Oklahoma didn't have the financial.
Well, that was a long time ago, Tanner.
That's what I'm saying. He's the only one. That's the only
first
one.
of all, he's not the same person he was then as he is now.
Well, the whole financials
he's
was
become
that part.
This self-loathing type of person now, though, that is just unbearable to be around because, first of all, every time he goes somewhere different, it's everyone else is the problem, and I'm good, and I'm just too good for this. And like, that's the shit that's annoying. No one wants to deal with that shit.
So do you? I don't feel bad for Daryl Morey at all. You knew exactly what you're getting yourself into, bringing James Harden in, and also takes this one little crack, and he's gonna be upset again. Second stint with Daryl Morey and James Harden, and we're going through the same routine we did back in Houston.
Who wants a guy like this to be on their team?
Morey does.
Seriously. That's the guy.
He brought him around for a second round.
And here we are.
And he's
so he's under contract.
He is. He has to play.
And if I'm 34 years old, I'm not breaking out the fat suit because your career's over. You can't do that.
You can't do it this time.
You can do it when you're 28, but you can't do it when you're 34.
You can do it. Okay, here's when you can do it. You can do it when you're on the same team with Kyrie Irving because he's going to steal all your thunder and be worse at showing up to your job than you are.
He did this in Houston, right? So he was coming off his, potential NBA title year, almost MVP, stuff like that, like just a year move from MVP, and he got in the fat suit, right? It's what he did. He's like, I want out. I'm getting my fat suit. Now he did that same thing in Brooklyn. Now we're in Philly. He can't do it. He can't do this here with Philly this time around. It's not going to work the same.
No. But it's frustrating to see unfold, right? I mean, James Harden at one point in our lives was known as like the 3 guy. I mean, he was the guy just out there draining them.
He's.
I was going to do that Steph Curry,
he showed he still has it in a way because he did have a 50 burger when NBA.
We're getting to where it's coming towards the end because
it is.
There's the difference between a guy like him and Steph Curry. Steph Curry's how old again? How old?
Oh, Steph's probably about same age. Actually, they came up.
I think Steph's older than James.
He may be, but they were rookies in the exact same year.
Okay. I think Steph's a little older than James.
Steph Curry's 35.
The difference is Steph Curry absolutely cares about his health and cares about his longevity.
Takes care of the body, sure.
He could play pretty high level basketball until he's
33.
in his late 30s.
No, he turns 34 this month in August.
Harden's gonna be one of those guys. He's gonna be pretty much washed up at this point. Coming soon. I mean, it's not that far away.
Yeah, 26.
If you wanted to do like a sort of a holdout thing, I could see him doing that. But you got to stay in fucking basketball shape. No more fat suits because, like I said, it's over if he does that again. He's got to keep himself in shape. Even if he could sit out till Christmas, and then say, okay, now I want to come back and play or whatever, just to
see what the team's about.
Show my value. But it's not looking good over there in Philly.
No Doc, no. You get this whole distraction after distraction after distraction every single year. It's not good.
Yeah, and then somebody was even bringing up the point that at what point do you just reset the process and trade Joel Embiid? Well, because he's at his peak value right now. Just basically just won the MVP award. And maybe you do think about trading him and see if you can just get a shitload of assets and hit the reset button. Because if you do that, then, I mean, they're not going to win a championship anyway, let's be honest. But at least if they hit the reset button and get rid of Embiid for some assets, then at that point, we don't really give a shit about what Harden does. Harden can sit there and rot.
So then you're just building around Maxey than you are Embiid.
Oh, Maxey's going to be a superstar.
Yeah.
So why not do that?
You could, or you could just see what you got this year and call it,
and get all the assets for Embiid before he gets injured again.
You got to see what you have this year with Maxey coming in strong, the draft they had as well. On top of that, I think you got to see what you got. See what you got.
Yeah, guys. He said holdouts. Got me kind of wondering. We got 4 minutes left. If anyone has any questions remaining about Chiefs situation with Chris Jones, let us know.
Yes, we'll do a mock.
I would not mind answering a couple questions if you guys want to.
What's up, Alan?
Alan, what's up? Tanner, what you doing with the mocks tonight? What's your plan?
We're gonna do a 12-man sleeper, full PPR mock draft People can join if they want. Of course, I think Alan's joining me and Scott's joining me on live as well.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna have a little fun there. It'll
No.
probably be next week when I start prepping for our stuff.
I was gonna say, so you've been doing these mocks every single night, so which means obviously you guys that are hanging around right now, you guys are gonna be seeing Tanner do his late night mock draft. What have you picked up on so far about the mocks that surprises you or that you're developing a strategy for?
It's how can I work the stacks, right? I think that's my big thing. It's like in the past years, I've never thought about working a stack. Like Trevor Lawrence, you can get usually in the 5th or 6th.
You've never thought about like stacking with who?
I just never. But Trevor Lawrence, so you can get so you can get Travis Etienne usually in the 3rd or 4th. You can get Ridley almost right after that if you're in the right spot. You can get Lawrence right after that, and then you get Ingram and 2 picks later. I've been able to actually
see
Ingram. I've been able to solidify that forward duo right there.
I kind of feel like 4 is too many.
It is
to have on
but
one
that's
stack.
that's why I've been like, sometimes I don't get ETN, sometimes I don't get Ridley. I stay away from Kirk.
My main thing is that in my stacks I've done in the past, I like to pair a quarterback with his top receiver. Correct. I like doing that. So, like, obviously, if you have Mahomes, you want to pair him with Travis Kelce. Like, if I have Trevor Lawrence,
damn near impossible.
If I have Trevor Lawrence, which I do, then I would like to have typically a guy like Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Right. Or
Goff and Amon-Ra.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
nice
I'm all about the stacks.
So I've been trying to see, like, I'm gonna take some time out either tomorrow night or Sunday night and basically make a big Excel sheet of like my stacks, like each team stack, like who do we got, who's draftable, and now, where do they drop it? You
in our league, I don't want you to give away any information, but you're picking one spot ahead of me, right?
Correct.
I'm picking 9th, he's picking 8th.
I got 8th.
And are you already developing a plan of attack?
I haven't yet. I got an idea with it, but I haven't fully yet because I haven't really done mocks in our stuff yet. But I got an idea. I've done 8 a lot, but it's also different because we got all the keepers, we got the traded draft picks. Like everything that I'm seeing now is not going to be the same when I start mocking that.
Sure, it'll be a little different.
It will be different. I
get that.
But
the stacks idea absolutely can still be put into
correct. Work. And I've been trying to do multiple stacks. So like I did a super flex mock because I got one going on right now, and I'm just trying to figure out how can I stack certain guys without having the same buys, such as a Lamar and maybe a Bateman later. She was dropping down to the 10-9 range, and then you get the Goff, Amon-Ra. You can do Gibbs as well with that one. So have a combo of 3, stuff like that. It's been interesting where certain guys go, and I think the biggest thing was we talked about George Pickens, the evolution of where his draft choice has been, like his ADP has gone from down, like we were able to pick him in 7 or 8. He is now going between the 4 and 5 range.
Yeah,
which is perfect. Which is all right. I saw him as early as the 3rd round yesterday.
One thing I would say is if you wanted to stack a guy like Pickens, I can say this openly because it doesn't matter in our league.
Correct.
Is that you also should be getting Kenny Pickett with it. I'm not saying to be your QB1. No. You can get Kenny Pickett way later in the draft to be your QB2.
He goes undrafted sometimes.
Just in case certain things unfold the right way for these guys, that's who we should be looking at. Is getting a pair of Pickett and Pickens together.
Correct. Guys late, you can get Derek Carr really late too. You can pair that with Olave or Kamara or Jamal. I mean, if you really
like the Olave pairing, the Olave pairing makes a lot of sense.
And it's nice to have a number 2 like that too. So I mean, it's been interesting to see where these guys drop down and the ability to get somebody else who you pick top to be able to balance that with later. So
gotcha.
It's been fun.
Nice.
Yeah, only kind of surprise I think I'd throw out there is how late Aaron Rodgers is going in these drafts. And I understand the fact that they have an elite defense. You don't think they're going to score as many points. But what I don't understand is like they think that Aaron Rodgers' career now is defined by last year on that shitball fucking team.
Correct.
When he just won 2 fucking MVPs before that. I'm pretty sure his skill set's not declined that much. So, I mean, don't really understand that. I mean, Aaron Rodgers should be going at least like 6th, 7th round.
He's been going,
guys.
Yeah, he's been going way too late.
Did we just forget so easily about Tom Brady every year just going way down your draft
7, 8,
for no
9.
fucking reason
it's
whatsoever?
The same fucking thing.
It's the exact same
now he's
thing.
Not going to last till 45, but he's going to have he's going to have a good year
in our league. He's not going past the 2nd round. It happens every year. So we're all aware of that.
yeah.
All I'm
We're all
saying
aware
is,
of that.
guys,
So
we sat there for years
He's
and years going,
eliminated.
"Oh, Tom Brady's sliding down draft boards," and it's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, he's
that's-
going in the 9th round." I'm like,
it makes no
why?
fucking sense.
"Why?" And it's every year the same goddamn thing.
And so I think Rogers is going in the
know.
8th or 9th or some shit like that.
which is
so
honestly great value.
yeah, it's amazing
know,
I
value.
mean, if his ADP is in the 8th or 9th round in your league, it's great value.
So shout out to Byrne and Hunter. You know, it's lately in my mock drafts. Like I've seen Sean Clifford over Jordan Love come into play. So
Say what?
Sean Clifford, the Penn State legend,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
been picked over Jordan Love.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's what you guys are into, look, I'm not here during those late night fetishes. So whatever you guys are into,
I'm just
my
guys.
I did watch one at one point. I was laying in my bed with my girlfriend, and then you popped on the screen, and I was like, "This feels wrong." I'm sitting in my boxers. You're naked, and here's Tanner's face. He's here yapping about fantasy football, and I got covers over me in our bed, sitting up there, and I got my TV all on the wall and everything. I'm like, you know what? We can't watch this YouTube video today, girl. We got to put on something different. So, I don't even know. So, that's how I feel about Tanner's little late night podcast.
Mike just hates that my head's all tiny and it's in the corner.
And it's also in a dark room.
It's the same light that you're seeing now.
And next time you do that late night podcast, or maybe next week, you can break out the crab underwear.
Ooh, I do
Just
like
wear it
that.
on
No,
the show.
I'm gonna go get those Carolina ones, dude.
You got to go with the crabs.
I like the crabs.
Fantasy
The
football,
crabs seem fun.
fantasy football after dark every night
All
after
right.
the shows. So
Meaning we need to end the show now. So that way Tanner can get to business.
technically it go in 2 minutes. So
Well, guys, with all that said, thank you so much for hanging out for a bit on the Sports Buffoons. It was great to be here. Tanner, you might be gone next week, right?
Yep.
All right.
we'll have to figure something out.
We'll talk about that in a later day, apparently. So, thank you guys, and let's watch some Chiefs this weekend. Cannot wait to watch another game and get some more, information put all together. So, with that said, I'll see y'all on the next one.
Outro.
See you guys.